I tried to end the illicit relationship quietly, but my husband, the man who loved me with all his heart, accidentally witnessed my final meeting with my lover. I am selfish, that is what I remind myself of every night when the house becomes silent, devoid of the laughter of our children. My ex-husband has every reason to hate me. My family fell apart, and I have never stopped despising myself for what I did. My mistake happened in 2015 when I was 39 years old. I took my husband for granted, failing to appreciate him as I should have. He used to call me beautiful every day, always wanting to be close to me and take care of me. He treated me as an equal partner, not as a queen or a princess. We had been together for 20 years, since high school, each other's first and only love. My family adored him, and he was a pillar of support for my younger brother during difficult times. He was the one everyone turned to for help, a good man. We had 4 children together, 2 sons, aged 18 and 16, and twin daughters, aged 13. As time passed, I gained weight and became insecure, but my husband never stopped complimenting me. We rarely argued, but when we did, it was often about intimacy, something I had lost interest in. At 39, after a year of going to the gym, practicing yoga, and doing Pilates, I dropped from 180 pounds to 135. My husband also worked out, though not as much as I did, yet he still made efforts to improve himself. But despite the physical changes, I still didn't want to be intimate with him. I thought maybe I was approaching menopause. I refused marriage counseling and failed to realize that I was slowly pushing him away. And then, my selfishness took over. It all started when I joined an advanced yoga class. There, I met Ryan, the new instructor, a 42-year-old man who was tall, fit, and full of energy. He was nothing like the men I was used to. Ryan wasn't just physically skilled, he had a great sense of humor and a captivating way of speaking. I didn't notice him at first, but over time, I was drawn to how he encouraged me and praised my progress. For the first time in years, I felt special. Ryan's compliments were different from my husband's, they made me feel butterflies. He noticed every little improvement I made, from better balance to increased confidence in my movements. I knew I shouldn't have these feelings, but I couldn't stop myself from feeling excited whenever I was near him. At first, everything remained on the level of friendship. I found excuses to stay longer at the gym, chatting with Ryan about nutrition, health, and lifestyle. I told my husband I was busy with work and training. He trusted me completely. He was even proud that I was taking better care of myself. I looked into my husband's eyes every night, feeling guilty but still indulging in this forbidden emotion. Then one day, Ryan asked me to grab a coffee after class. I hesitated but agreed. That conversation lasted longer than I expected. We laughed, shared personal stories that I had never told my husband. I felt young again, as if I had found a version of myself that I had long lost. I thought I could control my emotions, that it was just an innocent crush. But I was wrong. I started thinking about Ryan more than I should. Every text from him made my heart race. Every yoga session became something I eagerly anticipated. I tried telling myself it was just temporary excitement, but the truth was undeniable. I had gone too far. One coffee date led to another, and then another. We talked about everything, our interests, our lives, our unfulfilled dreams. Ryan had an exciting past, filled with adventures I had never experienced. He spoke about the places he had traveled, the challenges he had overcome. Compared to my stable but somewhat monotonous life, Ryan's world felt like a fresh breeze, full of excitement. Then one day, Ryan invited me to a private session. I knew I shouldn't go, but I agreed anyway. As I stepped into the quiet room, just the two of us, my heart pounded. He moved closer, adjusting my posture, his breath warm against my ear. I could feel the tension in the air, a dangerous temptation I didn't dare acknowledge. I went home that night feeling torn. Seeing my husband comfortably watching a movie on the couch, I felt an overwhelming guilt. He trusted me, never doubted me. Yet I was hiding a growing secret from him. I told myself to stop, that this was just a fleeting crush. But the scariest part was that I wasn't sure if I wanted to stop. I didn't know if this was a temporary temptation or a sign that I was lost in my own marriage. In the following days, I tried to avoid Ryan. I made excuses, canceled yoga sessions, even delayed responding to his messages. I thought that by creating distance, my feelings would fade. But instead, I felt emptier and more restless than ever. One evening, while my husband was engrossed in a football game, I sat beside him, but my mind was elsewhere. I wanted to feel happy, to feel love like before, but something inside me was breaking. I couldn't talk to him about this, couldn't admit that my heart was being torn apart by someone else. Ryan was patient. One night, he texted, "I don't understand what's happening, but if you want to talk, I'm here." I stared at the message, my hands trembling as I considered replying. I remembered how it felt to be around Ryan, to be heard and cared for in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. But then I also thought of my husband, the man who had always been there for me, even when I felt lost. In the end, I deleted the message and put my phone down. I turned to look at my husband, really seeing him for the first time in days. Maybe I had been so focused on chasing new feelings that I forgot what truly mattered. Love wasn't just passion in the beginning, it was a choice made every day. I took a deep breath and gently leaned my head on his shoulder. He was surprised at first, but then wrapped his arms around me tightly. And I knew this was where I belonged. That night, I started thinking seriously about my marriage. I realized that love wasn't always fiery and passionate like in the early days. Sometimes, it flowed quietly like a river, moving through the peaceful days. And sometimes, that very peace made us forget its true value. I decided to stop running away. I wanted to face my emotions, but more importantly, I wanted to reconnect with my husband. I made small but meaningful changes. I asked him about his work, his interests. I tried to remember what made him laugh, the memories we once shared. At first, things were awkward. My husband seemed surprised by my change, but didn't question it. Until one evening, as we cleaned up after dinner, he suddenly took my hand and gently asked, "Are you okay?" That simple question choked me up. I realized he must have noticed the distance between us, but didn't know how to address it. I squeezed his hand and nodded. A few days later, I texted Ryan, "Thank you for caring about me. But I think we should keep our distance. I need to appreciate what I have." Ryan didn't reply immediately. After a while, he simply sent, "I understand. I wish you happiness." I put my phone down, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. I turned to my husband, who was waiting in the living room, and smiled at him. Perhaps, love isn't about searching for something new, but about learning to love what we already have, every day.